Ovarian aging, it's one of the biggest challenges in modern reproductive medicine. And it's not just about fertility. It's this absolutely fascinating biological puzzle that scientists are right now closer than ever to solving. But to get how we might solve it, we first have to understand why it happens at all.
And right at the heart of this whole puzzle is this one kind of startling question. Why do our ovaries seem to be on a completely different, much faster timeline than every other organ? It's a real mystery, and it's the one we're going to unravel today.
So here's our roadmap. We'll start with what's called the ovarian aging paradox. Then we'll dive right into a cellular breakdown. After that, we'll get to the exciting part, rewinding the clock, check out some other new tools, and finally, take a look at the future of fertility.
Okay, so to answer that big question, we have to start with the unique biology of the ovary itself. Because unlike almost every other part of our body, it plays by a really unique and unforgiving set of rules. And this is the core principle right here, seminal gametogenesis. Now I know, it's a technical term, but the idea behind it is pretty profound. It means the pool of eggs you're born with is all you will ever have. It's a closed system. There's no way to restock or regenerate. What you've got is what you've got. And at birth, that system is stocked with a massive number of potential eggs. We're talking somewhere between 1 and 2 million. This is the starting line. But by the time menopause begins, that number has just plummeted to fewer than 1,000. The sheer scale of that drop is staggering. It's this dramatic countdown that's happening over a lifetime. So, what's happening to these eggs in the meantime? Well, they're essentially frozen in time, paused in a state of meiotic arrest. It's like a kind of suspended animation for decades. And this long, long wait is a real problem because it gives damage from environmental toxins to just simple wear and tear, years and years to build up. All right, now let's zoom in. We're going from the organ as a whole down to the cellular level. Scientists have basically identified 9 key suspects, or hallmarks, that are all working together to cause this accelerated aging process. And here they are, the 9 hallmarks of ovarian aging. It's a really complex, interconnected web of cellular decline. Now, don't worry, we won't go through all 9, but let's just spotlight a few of the biggest players driving this whole thing. First up is genomic instability, and this chart, wow, it really illustrates the maternal age effect perfectly. In young oocytes, fewer than 10% have chromosomal issues. But look at this. In aged oocytes, that number just skyrockets to around 65%. The bottom line is that the cellular machinery that's supposed to ensure accurate cell division, it just breaks down over time. Next, let's talk energy. Oocytes are incredibly energy hungry. I mean, they need a massive power supply to develop correctly. But as you can see here, aged mitochondria, the cell's power plants, they start to have an energy crisis. They just can't produce enough ATP, which is the cell's energy currency, and their own DNA gets damaged. This directly hurts an egg's ability to mature and develop properly. And then we have these things, senescent cells. A great way to think of them is as zombie cells. They stop dividing, but they refuse to die. Instead, they just hang around, pumping out this toxic mix of inflammatory signals that actively damages the healthy, functional follicles right next to them. It creates this vicious cycle of decline. Okay, so that was the problem. Now for the truly exciting part, the potential solution. Scientists are no longer just observing aging, they're actually learning how to reverse it through a process called cellular reprogramming. This is where it gets really cool. This quote really captures the huge shift in thinking here. The idea that you could literally reset a cell's identity, well, it opened up this mind-blowing possibility. What if you could turn back the aging clock on a cell without turning it all the way back into a stem cell? What if you could just make it young again? And the key to this magic are the Yamanaka factors. These 4 factors are basically the biological code that can tell an adult cell to forget its age, forget its identity, and become young and pluripotent again, which just means it can develop into any type of cell in the body. This discovery was a total game changer. But full reprogramming can be dangerous. It can lead to tumors. So the real breakthrough is partial reprogramming. Instead of a continuous blast of these factors, scientists use these short, pulsed bursts. This gently resets the cell's epigenetic clock to a younger state, rejuvenating it while, and this is so critical, letting it keep its original job as, say, an ovarian cell. And this isn't just theory, The Carolina Project in Spain is already developing a system to deliver these reprogramming factors directly to the ovary.
This kind of targeted approach could maximize the rejuvenating effects right where they're needed, while avoiding side effects in the rest of the body. It's happening now.
Now, cellular reprogramming is absolutely revolutionary, but it's not the only game in town. Researchers are exploring several other really exciting ways to fight ovarian aging. This table gives us a great little overview. First, you've got platelet-rich plasma, or PRP, which uses your own blood's growth factors to stimulate tissue. That's already in clinical use. Then you have NAD+ boosters, which are basically supplements that help recharge those failing mitochondrial power plants. And finally, senolytics. These are drugs designed to literally hunt down and destroy those zombie cells we were talking about earlier.
So, with all this incredible science bubbling up, what does the future actually look like? What are the next big steps on this journey?
Well, the path forward still has its challenges. We need better ways to actually measure ovarian age. We've got to perfect those delivery systems, figure out if it's better to prevent the aging in the first place or rejuvenate later on. And of course, we have to make sure everything is safe and effective through rigorous clinical trials. But the ultimate goal here, it's transformative. It's about changing our entire perspective. The idea is to stop seeing ovarian aging as this inevitable fate and start seeing it as a biological process that we can understand, we can target, and ultimately that we can treat. And this all brings us to one final, pretty profound question. If this science succeeds, could we one day uncouple fertility from age? Could the whole concept of a biological clock become nothing more than a historical artifact? That is the incredible future this research is working toward.